this episode, I talk about my own struggles with depression. It's quite emotionally vulnerable, and I cry for a lot of the episode. So if you can't handle listening to that, I will understand. Listen at your own discretion. It is Sunday, the 17th of November, 2024. My name is Pigeon Rose, and this is my song of the day. Here we are at the end of Desert Bus week. If you're hearing this, Desert Bus is probably already over. Well, I'd say definitely already over. But for me, it's not. It's still going. So I'm probably going to edit in a little thing here, depending on when I edit this, saying what they got to or saying what they're at by the time I'm editing it, basically. So I'm going to leave space for that now. Beep! As I mentioned in yesterday's episode, Desert Bus concluded with a total of $1.25 million. Incredible. Just, I don't have the words for it. It's just amazing that they keep making, I mean, even if they only made $1, right, it would be amazing. But $1.25 million, incredible. And we shall continue. So, one song was absolutely certain for me to do when I decided to do a Desert Bus week. And that song was The Mary Ellen Carter. By Stan Rogers. Now, I considered also doing Barrett's Privateers by Stan Rogers, or even Northwest Passage by Stan Rogers. But I decided to just do this because I thought of enough songs for the rest of the week. But I was always going to end with this song. Stan Rogers was a Canadian folk musician and singer. He did a lot of maritime songs, sea shanties and things like that. And this song that we're talking about today is The Mary Ellen Carter, which, as you may guess, the title is the name of a ship in the song. And I've got some wild stories about this one, fellas, but I don't think we need to give it much of a tee up apart from that. I think we should just go listen to it now and then come back in a few minutes and talk about it. There it is, The Mary Ellen Carter by Stan Rogers. So, as I'm sure you gathered if you were paying attention to the lyrics, the song is about a group of people who decide to rescue a ship from the bottom of the ocean because the people in charge, like the insurance companies and all that, think it's too expensive, and they're like, we're not doing it for the fucking money, we want the ship back. And it's all kind of used as this metaphor for overcoming adversity in general, and it's a great rallying cry, and as a song it's become very important for me and something I listen to a lot. I have a playlist. Oh, what's it called? It's not called Smile. It's a different playlist I have. Broken Wings Won't Hold You Down. I have a playlist called Broken Wings Won't Hold You Down of songs to cheer one up. It starts with Israel Kamo. I don't remember his full name. The Hawaiian singer. It starts with his mashup of Somewhere Over the Rainbow and What a Wonderful World. And it ends with Wings by Jeff and Casey Lee Williams, I think, from the Ruby soundtrack. I don't really care much about Ruby, but it's got some great songs. Love me some Jeff Williams. But point is, Mary Ellen Carter is also on that playlist because it's a song about not giving up, about overcoming impossible odds despite all the people who try to hold you down. And it's great. Real great motivational song. So let's talk about it here. She went down last October in a pouring driving rain. The skipper he'd been drinking and the mate he felt no pain. Too close to 3 Mile Rock and she was dealt her mortal blow. And the Mary Ellen Carter settled low. There was just us 5 aboard her when she finally was awash. We'd worked like hell to save her, all heedless of the cost, and the groan she gave as she went down had caused us to proclaim that the Mary Ellen Carter would rise again. So, pretty simple. The boat sank in October of the previous year. It was stormy weather. The captain was drunk. The mate, he felt no pain. I don't know if that's also referring to being drunk or maybe frostbite. But point is, the ship was in a bad situation and they sailed too close to 3 Mile Rock, which is not a real place. I mean, there is a real place called 3 Mile Rock, but Stan Rogers liked to make up geographical features, and God knows where he was singing about. But anyway, it sailed there and was sunk. It settled low. There were only 5 people aboard her when it was awash, which implies that everyone else died in the sinking. We'd worked like hell to save her, all heedless of the cost, and the groan she gave as she went down, it caused us to proclaim the Mary Ellen Carter rise again. You know, these 5 people saying, we will bring this ship back. And then the second verse, well, the owners wrote her off, not a nickel would they spend. She gave 20 years of service, boys, then met her sorry end. But insurance paid the loss to us, so let her rest below. Then they laughed at us and said we had to go. But we talked of her all winter, some days around the clock, for she's worth $250,000 afloat and at the dock, and with every every jar that hit the bar we swore we would remain, and make the Mary Ellen Carter rise again. Rise again, rise again, let her name not be lost to the knowledge of men. Those who loved her best and were with her till the end will make the Mary Ellen Carter rise again. So this is where he's talking about the bosses. The owners wrote her off, not enough way they spend. She gave 20 years of service, boys, then met her sorry end. They're saying, you know, there's nothing to be done it now. She was a great ship for 20 years and then she sank. That's it. We won't spend any money on it. And the insurance paid out. So why do you care? Then they laughed at us and said we had to go. It's just so cruel, so uncaring. Like, you know, I get it wanting to keep your money and stuff, but like clearly these 5 men are passionate about it and they're just being so uncaring and cruel and miserly, you know. But we talked of her all winter, some days around the clock, for she's worth $250,000 afloating at the dock. So they're saying that like the idea of not bringing it back for money reasons is nonsensical anyway, because it's actually worth a lot of money to have it afloat, right? And with every jar that hit the bar we swore we would remain and make the Mary Ellen Carter rise again. So they're getting drunk and saying, yes, we're going to make it rise again. And then you get the chorus. And I think it's very appropriate that the first chorus comes in while they're drunk in the bar, because this very much has the sing along in a bar sort of feel to it, you know. Rise again, rise again. Let her name not be lost in the knowledge of men. Like, you know, we can't just let it sink and that's the end of it. We want people to know about this ship. Those who loved her best and were with her till the ends, this remaining crew will make the Mary Ellen Carter rise again. Then the third verse. All spring now we've been with her on a barge lent by a friend. 3 dives a day in hard hat suit and twice I've had the bends. Thank God it's only 60 feet and the currents here are slow, or I'd never have the strength to go below. But we've patched her rents, stopped her vents, dogged hatch and porthole down, put cables to her fore and aft and girded her around. Tomorrow noon we hit the air and then take up the strain and make the Mary Ellen Carter rise again. And you get the chorus again. So there's a lot of technical sailing terms here that I'm not familiar with, but you understand from context that they're talking about repairing the ship. I do enjoy though 3 dives a day in hard hat suit. So you know those big like weird diving suits. It always makes me think of Bioshock now. Twice I've had the bends. Ugh, the bends. It sounds so awful. I never want to have the bends. Decompression sickness is what the bends is. And yeah, thank God it's only 60 feet and the currents here are slow, or I'd never have the strength to go below. You know, even though they're determined to do this thing, they're like, oh, the conditions could be so much worse. I'm grateful they're not. We've patched her rents. So rents are holes in the ship's hull. Stopped her vents. So closed the vents on the bow and stern. Dogged hatch. So closed the bulkheads. And porthole down. Closed the windows. Put cables to her fore and aft and girded her around. So, you know, pulled her out. Tomorrow noon we hit the air and then take up the strain and make the Mary Ellen Carter rise again. So just all these things to repair and lift this ship up. And then the final verse. For we couldn't leave her there, you see, to crumble into scale. She'd saved our lives so many times living through the gale. And the laughing drunken rats who left her to a sorry grave, they won't be laughing in another day. And you to whom adversity has dealt the final blow, with smiling bastards lying to you everywhere you go, turn to and put out all your strength of arm and heart and brain, and like the Mary Ellen Carter rise again. Here is where he underlines the theme, right? He says, you know, we couldn't leave her there to crumble into scale, to, you know, to decompose the bottom of the ocean. She'd saved our lives so many times living through the gale. They're talking about repaying the favor, like the ship saved their lives and they should save the ship's life. And the laughing drunken rats who left her to a sorry grave, they won't be laughing another day. So calling the insurance company and the owners the rats, right? And then it goes, and you to whom adversity has dealt the final blow, with smiling bastards lying to you everywhere you go, turn to and put out all your strength of arm and heart and brain, like the Mary Ellen Carter rise again. So he's saying here, you don't need to stay sunk at the bottom of the ocean. You can rise again, because if we 5 men were able to pull this ship from the bottom of the ocean, you can get through it, is basically what the song is saying. And that's why this song is so important to me for this message, because I think it's told so well, you know. It's a sign of passion of an artist and good storytelling when they can make you care about something that you usually don't. I don't know shit about ships. I don't know shit about sailing. But this song makes me care about a ship, you know, because you can see yourself in the ship is the thing. And you can see yourself want to rise again, like the Mary Ellen Carter. Oh, God. Ooh. I'm trying to get through the end of this episode, buddy. I've still got the chorus to read. So the final chorus has additional lyrics. It goes, rise again, though your heart it be broken and life about to end. No matter what you've lost, be it a home, a love, a friend, then like the Mary Ellen Carter, rise again, though your heart it be broken or life about to end. No matter what you've lost, be it a home, a love, a friend. No matter what you've lost, be it a home, a love, a friend, like the Mary Ellen Carter, rise again. So again, just saying here, no matter what horrible things have happened to you, you will get better. You will make it through. You can rise up like the Mary Ellen Carter. Oh. This isn't even the end of the episode because I have to talk about the story. So that's the lyrics. I love this song. And musically, too, really rousing song. He doesn't sound like he's in his 20s, does he? Stan Rogers was a young man. He just had an old man voice. But he died in 1983, which is 4 years after this song came out. And he was only 33 when he died. Like, he was young. You know, I guess he would have been 29 when this song came out. God. Anyway, so the story I need to tell is that this song is actually like verifiably credited with saving a man's life. There was this ship called the Marine Electric in 1983, which is the year that Stan Rogers died, but it was when Stan Rogers was still alive. The ship Marine Electric was carrying a load of coal from Norfolk, Virginia to a power station in Somerset, Massachusetts. I'm mostly just reading this from the Wikipedia, by the way. The worst storm in 40 years blew up that night, and the ship sank at about 4 o'clock in the morning on February 13th. The ship's chief mate, 59-year-old Robert M. Bob Cusick, was trapped in the deckhouse as the ship went down. His snorkeling experience helped him avoid panic and swim to the surface, but he was left to spend the night alone on a partially deflated lifeboat he eventually reached, in water barely above freezing and air much colder. Huge seas washed over him, and each time he was not sure that he would ever reach the surface again to breathe. Battling hypothermia, he was tempted to allow himself to fall unconscious and be washed away. Just then, he remembered the concluding stanzas of the Mary Ellen Carter. As Cusick tells in One Warm Line, a documentary about Rogers, he started to sing it and soon was alternately shouting out, rise again, and holding his breath as the seas washed over him. At 7 o'clock that morning, a Coast Guard helicopter spotted him and pulled him to safety. Only 3 men of the 34 who had been aboard survived the wreck. After his ordeal, Cusick wrote a letter to Stan Rogers telling him what had happened and crediting the song with saving his life. In response, Rogers invited Cusick to attend what turned out to be the second to last concert Rogers ever performed. Cusick lived another 30 years, and his testimony and activism in the aftermath of the accident spurred far-reaching maritime safety reforms. I feel like no matter who you are, what kind of art you make, if it has impact on even one person, you've done a good job. You know what I mean? That's what an artist wants, is they want to make an impact on someone's life, you know? And it can be anything. It can be making someone laugh. It can be making someone cry. It can be saving someone's life, like Stan Rogers did for this guy. It's just such an incredible thing. And it's part of why this song is so inspiring for me and so important to me, is because I know that this song has saved a life. And I feel that, like, strength in me when I listen to it. I don't just feel Stan Rogers telling this fictional story of men saving a boat. I think of this man, Bob Cusick, surviving because of this song. And I think I can do that too. And I don't think it's coincidence that I discover this song through Desert Bus, because Desert Bus is like that for me as well. As inscrutable as it can be for people I describe it to, Desert Bus is something I've been supporting for 14 years, and it's very important to me because, I mean, apart from the fact that it's a charity fundraiser, so it's just doing good in the world, it's something I can rely on every year to make me smile, no matter what's happening to me, no matter how shit my November is, no matter how shit my year has been so far. It's something at the end of the year, just before Christmas, that I can sit down and let wash over me for a week, and it makes me happy, and it reminds me that everything's gonna be okay, you know? Oh, fuck. I'm gonna need to collect myself before I record the outro here. Oh, Christ. I've got tears streaking down my cheeks. Well, that's going to do it for today, and indeed for this week. Thank you so much for listening. I'm always happy to watch Desert Bus, as you already gathered, and I'm glad to share the songs that I've discovered through it with you. Next week's theme is not a specific theme, it's just general songs I want to talk about, although there are specific days that have important songs on them. So look forward to that. And until then, thank you so much for listening. Please hit like, hit subscribe, leave a comment down below, tell me what you think, tell other people about this show. Thank you so much for listening, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Break it down. Dry your eyes now, baby. Broken wings won't hold you down. You'll take flight. No, it is from Ruby, okay. And you to whom adversity has dealt... Oh my god. I'm trying to summon up the courage to read this fucking song. Stop texting me. And then it goes, and you to whom adversity has dealt the final blow. The final bro!